people ask me, like, what's the inspiration of a tune, or like, where did it come from? I mean, it's really just a musical idea. I rarely, and what I'll do is sometimes I'll think I want to do a tribute to somebody. So like I'll do a tribute to my mother, or I'll do a tribute to Joseph Spence, or guitar players that I admire. And I think of their styles. And I go, what would they like? Or let me play something in tribute to them. Or I'll think of someone like, even a piano player like Lenny Tristano. And I won't try to play in his style, but I'll try to play like with his sensibility of like his creativity, and try to use that a little bit. So it gives me something to go on. And it may come out sounding totally different than their style, but it's just something, gives you just sort of a path to follow a little bit. And that works for me. So that's kind of my inspiration of like, who do I want to pay tribute to? So most of my tunes are really tributes to people and stuff. And that's kind of where it comes from. And then sometimes there's a lyric involved. So I'll think of a lyric, and then I'll think, well, that kind of, I have a nice, it's like, right, you have a phrase, and then I'm going to extend the phrase and add another lyric. And it's just always an idea, just keeps moving, But it's a fun process. But it can be frustrating, and it's very slow. Like I've written tunes over a period of 4 or 5 years. Oh yeah, I forgot about that idea. I picked that up. Oh, that's something I started way back, and now I'm adding it. So it's a wonderful kind of confusion in a way. And that's why I like the stairwell, because I go in there and I sit there and I get ideas popping left and right. And then I'll finish the session and go, I didn't really play a song. I play a lot of different ideas. Next day I'll go in and I'll keep those ideas humming, and something will latch on. And it's just this nice little musical universe I kind of put myself in. And I don't look for answers. I just play. And it's interesting how it evolves. So there's always like 4 or 5 or 6 things floating around, and after a while they just sort of make sense. And and then that's why performing is nice too, because when you perform you have to kind of put it together. You have to put a beginning. How am I going to start it? How am I going to end it? So performing helps a little bit to put finishing touches on a tune. That's why I like the stairwell, and performing is a nice kind of like yin-yang balance, complete the circle. So it's a nice process, And then sometimes when I play a tune, I get bored with it. It's like I'm done with it. Like that's a tune, 3 Not 4. I wrote that a long time ago. Played it with a drummer. And now I'm playing it with a little different feel. And over the years, it's kind of changed and morphed. So now when I play my tunes, I change them around constantly because I just get bored with them. So they're not as spontaneous. When I wrote it, it might have had a certain feel, and now I feel it differently. So I used to think, well, kind of getting stale. I have the same kind of songs I've been playing all these years. And then, I thought about it, and I was thinking of all the great musicians I admire, for everywhere, guitar players from, Doc Watson to Eddie Lang to Charlie Christian to Lester Young, horn players, Gary Davis. I look at their whole output of their life, what their repertoire was about, and it wasn't that big. Sometimes they'd have like 10 songs they played for 50 years, Or you listen to, Gary Davis played the same songs in 1935, 55, 65, same arrangements, same tunes. John Hurt, all the great blues players, a lot of the jazz players. So they had their repertoire. And then, take 1, take 2, take 3. So it wasn't about the songs, it's what you did with the songs. So you don't have to have a big repertoire. You can have a small repertoire. Some blues guys had 1 song, 2 songs, like a blues and E. And they had their whole career out of 2 or 3 blues songs. So it's what you did with it, how spontaneous you could be with it, how you can change it. So it's not about the tune. When I studied with Lenny, I was with him for 4 years. We did 4 songs. So that kind of got me thinking about my own music and thinking, when I started to, getting kind of stale, I got to write new tunes. And to some extent that's true. But then I thought, well, I have my body of work, let's say, and now I'm just kind of redoing it. So now when I play my tunes, they feel fresh again because I'm not playing it the way I recorded it 10 years ago or 5 years ago. So it's the same title, the same basic arrangement, but I'll add something new, different rhythmic groove to it, so it feels spontaneous, so it's fun for me. And that's kind of a different journey. That's something new for me. So that's kind of exciting in a way. And so, yeah, it makes me feel like it's a different aspect of being a musician, and try to keep it fresh and not think so much. But I need new tunes. I got to come up with new stuff. It's like, you think of all the great musicians, they could do the same performance for 20 years, and every time you hear it, it's fresh. It's new. And I think that's an art in itself. How do you keep a tune fresh and new? So I'm learning as I go how to do that. And it's a fun journey.
This is the last guy I had to work with. You put that up there. Go. It's hilarious, Joe.
I know.